So guys, what's up? Probably have a tumor in my brain. Yep. I haven't been on here for a couple months, and it's because I just had stuff going on in my personal life, and I just kind of let the channel rot for a little bit. I've been working more on TikTok and whatever related to the channel. Anyway, point is, channel update. Tumor, tumor. Yeah, it's been kind of tough. I don't know. This is just gonna be me talking about um, finding out and my life and whatever. So um, I don't know. I guess they don't really tell you a lot of this stuff. I don't see a lot of videos talking about not necessarily when you find out if you have something or not, but the process in between. So I'm hanging out with this very nice girl, and it is a Saturday morning, and I'm sitting here. She's like kind of asleep, and I get a phone call from my doctor. I did some blood work. I had to do blood work 3 times over um, the last like 8 months, year, something like that, because my clinic has been sold to like many different companies repeatedly, and they don't share blood work. So I had to go get blood work every time, which is really lucky for me, I guess. Um, anyway, I went into the doctors. I got my blood work done. I got my panel, got my testing, everything I should be doing as a healthy young male. I'm pretty physically fit. Um, I'm a pretty healthy individual, as you may be able to tell if you've watched the channel for a decent amount of time. Um, my nurse practitioner basically told me that I was I had like a hormone that was higher than it should be or lower than it should be. I honestly can't remember. I'm not an expert on this. I really just listened to them and call it a day. She said, "Hey, this is generally indicating a growth on it's some gland," and she was like, "Hey, you should get an MRI ASAP." Because this hormone imbalance was not there 2 months ago when I got my last blood work done, and now it is. So so I go in, so we actually get it retested at first. It's funny how the conversation went because the first thing she said is she's like, "Oh, your B12 and your D12 are kind of deficient. This is deficient. This is good." We go down the whole list, and then she's like, "Hey, by the way, you probably have a tumor, or like a growth." And the first thing I was like, "Oh, like where's this gland located?" And she's like, "Oh, it's like in the middle of your brain." And I was like, "Oh, okay, like cool." So like I have like a growth, and she's like, "Well, like it could be benign. Like we don't know." And I was like, she's like, well, you should get you an MRI like as fast as possible though. And cool, like right, like epic based. And so we go in to redo the blood test, just in case. Obviously it came back the same. Um, and so I have my MRI actually in 3 days. I had my MRI in 3 days, and it's interesting because to try and explain how I feel about this is really difficult. If you've never been dying of disease before, this is actually my second time around. The first time changed me as a person pretty significantly. I almost died from, I want to say it was typhoid fever, when I was down in Panama, and I kind of thought that was it. I thought that maybe if I passed, I'd be like hit by a car or something, or like I'd get something like scarier later in life. I'm like 25, dude, and they're like, um, they're like, yeah, like you have a growth or whatever, and it's kind of tough. So, getting my MRI in 3 days, and we'll see what it looks like, and then we tracking the growth or whatever. Um, that's that's it, really. I mean, like people don't really explain like what it's like hearing a like a maybe to yes on kind of like what's going on. And like the maybe is really just me coping, right? As soon as I saw the first blood test and I heard how she sounded on the phone, I knew I was kind of cooked. Um, and that is what it is, boys. There's not a lot you can do about that other than kind of accept what's going on. It's rough not having a ton of agency, but what are you gonna do? You know, and you start to think of like everybody you've wronged or kind of how your life went. I've lived a full amount of life. I've been the bad guy. I've committed a whole bunch of crimes, and I kind of got away with everything. I almost did jail time. I ended up getting kicked out of high school. I ended up still going to university. I think I got an associate's in some liberal art that doesn't matter. Uh, I got half a degree in like aerospace. Um, I mean, I did stuff that I was interested in. I became a YouTuber. Um, I really enjoy YouTubing. I've definitely been like very lazy lately. I think maybe I deserve that considering light of my current situation. Um, I've loved a few people, lost them all. Some due to my own fault, some not. Um, I've almost been married. I was almost in an 8-year relationship. Um, I've had brothers. I've lost brothers. I've had a great many friends. And sometimes when I sit down and I stare at the tile on my floor in my house that I live in alone, I remember how none of them are with me now. And it's because of the way I am. And I suppose when you think that you could pass, you think of all of that, you highlight it all in your head. Um, in terms of, is it what I meant it to be? Is everything what it should be? Would I do it all again in the same way? Would I love the same? Would I lose the same? Would I go through all the same experiences? I think the answer is yes. I live my life as in like I would die any day. I live my life as in I could function every day. And you know what? Like later today, like I'm gonna record this video and I'm gonna drink a whole bunch of water. I'm probably gonna go work out. I originally planned to take a shot every time I got too sad in making this video, but I don't think I'm going to. Because you know what, guys? I could not have a tumor, or I could. It could be benign, it could be malignant. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Most of us are going to die in car accidents, and we're not going to know we're dying. I have the unfortunate knowledge that, I could have some terrible stuff. And everybody around me also has that unfortunate knowledge. My parents are freaking out. They're definitely not okay. My friends are freaking out. Anybody that's ever cared about me, save for a few, are freaking out. I guess I haven't told everybody. Suppose there's some people that are not in my life anymore. I'd probably tell them about it. If they if it's bad, I suppose there's some bridges that I planned on rebuilding later in my life that I figured needed time. But time is a luxury only some can afford. So if I can't afford that, then I will simply have to lay my cards bare on the table. I'm an honest man, but rarely am I forthcoming then. I suppose I'll have to be forthcoming if time is of the essence. I'm a writer as well. I write a lot. You guys may find a couple on this channel. Usually I write in a coffee shop. Rarely I write at home. It's been depressing lately. I'm not gonna lie. I never thought I'd be back here again, being hit with what is dying from disease. It was very traumatizing the first time. It greatly shaped me into the man I am today. It definitely took a lot of the joy and spark out of my life. I think a lot of people that knew me before then and knew me after would say I generally wasn't the same. For context, from typhoid, I think 5 or 6 days I lost like 25-30 pounds. Came back to the United States. I was a skeleton, shell of my former self, a shell of a shell. And here it is again. Fortunately, I'm a stronger man now, but the disease seems worse, perhaps. It seems more rough than last time. But last time I was at the mercy, and I kind of gave up a few times. One of the reasons why it did so much damage to me is just because I just accepted I was going to die quite a few times, and then I did not die, and that itself is a huge blow to your psyche. Human beings are not meant to give up like that. I did. I was tired. I did not want to fight anymore. It was too much for my body. I was too frail, too weak. Wanted to live too little. Perhaps I want to live more now. Maybe. Anyway, this is a hard video to record. Maybe I'll have more thoughts on it. You guys can comment, whatever. Maybe I'll make another video on this. Maybe the next video will be about poetry and will have nothing to do with this. Anyway, too long, didn't read. You guys are looking to skip to the last 10 seconds to see what's up. Probably have a tumor in my brain. Don't know if it's malignant. Don't know if it's benign, but it's, makes you reflect. Bye.